Well, hello traders. This is Art Dill for FuturesTradingCompany.net and a recap of our trading for April 27th, 2012. And as you can also see, I put the total for the week on this chart also. I took one trade on the Globex last night, went to bed. It was good for 28 points. We went 4 2 and 1 during the day session for a total of plus 60 points. So we ended up the day plus 88 total Dow points and had the best week since I opened the room this week. A total of plus 548 Dow points after commissions, a net of $2,375. So just an absolutely fabulous week. I'll show you the Globex trade I took. This was just after midnight Pacific Coast time. It was a breakout short. This was the pivot that had been put in prior to midnight at 13,105 for the low. And so after the open in Europe, I took the breakout short right here at 13,104. Took a contract off at 13,094 and went off at 13,089. And that was about 3 minutes later. and I put on a 15-point trailing stop, and I went to bed. And I ended up being stopped out of that contract. Actually, I got some slippage on the stop out. I got filled at 13,101. So a total of 28 points on that trade. As I said, as soon as I got my 15 points target, I put on a 15-point trailing stop, and I went to bed. Had you stayed up, you would have had an opportunity to get long pretty easily. This was a nice chart pattern here. But if you'd wanted to wait for a second one, it came pretty soon after that. There was another nice chart pattern. So either one of those, you could have gotten long and been long for quite a while. This was a news trade on Friday. It was GDP release at 5:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 East Coast. And I just put on a Fibonacci on this to show you how I take news trades. I actually do this on a 1-minute chart, but this was the 5:30 release right here. And there it is. And what I do is just basically draw a Fibonacci from the start of the bar where we had the reaction down here. And then what we're trying to do is just buy on the way back up or down, whichever direction the initial reaction was. And I'd like to buy a contract at the 50% retracement level. So I got one contract on here at 13,170. And then I like to buy another contract at the 61.8% retracement level, and I did. I got one on here at 13,174. I took the one contract off at 13,164, 10 points target on this one. And I took this one off at 13,160. The low of the move back down was 13,157. So got both targets on that move. The next trade I took was another short, and actually this would have worked. I ended up, I took this short 2 contracts. It was basically a breakout trade here. we'd put in a double top. You can see that right here. Had two pivots here, and then we had the break of this low pivot, 13,172, and it got to 166, and then started coming back against me, and I pulled the plug on the trade and got out at break even at 13,172. Had I been just a little bit more patient, as you can see, that would have been a nice trade, and it worked. It would have worked very well. So that was the one break-even trade on the day. Then I took, this was another little breakout trade here on a nice little chart pattern. Took a breakout of a high here, got long at 13,165 with two contracts, and had a target of 13,175, and that was actually the high of the move, 13,175. So plus 10 on the one contract, and I was stopped out at break even on the second contract. The next trade I took was a short, 13,142, and actually the tag of the 89 EMA here, a turn in the Hall moving average. It's the reason I took that short, and had a 15-point trailing stop on that. I only took that with one contract, guys. That's I do not trade the same number of contracts on every trade, depending upon my analysis at the time of the risk involved. So I only took this with one contract, and I was stopped out at 13,153, so a total of minus 11 points on that. The next trade I took was a long. Got long at 13,157. And that was a breakout of this pivot that had been formed right here on this bar. 13,157. Took some heat on that trade. Got to a low of 148 honest. But then I ended up taking one contract off after that heat at break even, 13,157. And then I got 10 points on the second contract, 13,167. So plus 10 points on that trade. And then this was the next trade was another short. And again, it was a breakout here of these pivots after it failed to make a new high on this run back up. Got short at 13,161 right here on this bar. That was at 7:45, 10:45 on the East Coast, and you can see right here I reversed at 13,165 after we had put in this little chart pattern, again a break of the pivot. So I stopped myself out at 13,165 on this short, and again I only had that with one contract. I took this long with two contracts, and I got 10 and 15 points on that. 13,175 and 13,180, and you can see here it made a high of 13,181 on that move, and then basically chopped sideways during the dead zone period. And that was the last trade I took on Friday. So that's the recap for April 27th, 2012. Guys, if you want to come into the room, sign on to the website, sign the guest book, or send me an email, info@eminisuccesscoach.com, and I'll give you an opportunity to come in the room and watch us trade free of charge for 2 weeks. Have a great weekend, everyone, and look forward to seeing you in the room next week.